Hi there, welcome back to Not Another Budget. I'm Nicole, and on this channel I'm attempting to cash budget my way out of debt and fix several years of financial misbehaviour. And if that's something you're interested in following along with, please don't forget to stick around and check out the other content I've created for you on this channel. Now, apologies for the little bit of a break this week. Our year 11s, so our GCSE students doing DT, have got a rather big deadline coming up next week. So I have been after school getting involved with extra workshop sessions for them and helping them with their builds and the kind of intervention and catch up for some very stressed out 15, 16-year-olds. So that has impacted on the time when I would be filming. That will be done by today. So back with a video for you today, and then the normal planned schedule of like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday-ish, or every kind of couple of days structure is going to return. Quite a few of them. The penny has only just dropped as of Monday this week that this is the date. Your deadline is here. The date's not moving. You need to get your skates on. So yes. It's fine. It's good experience and good to look forward to. And I was happy to kind of do that. And that also improves like my own development as well. So that's that. But I wanted to come back to you with a financial to-do list, and I mentioned in my live that I did last Saturday. I can't believe I've been away that long, actually. I mentioned in my live last Saturday that I'm conscious that I don't want to over-plan for certain things, and the best way to kind of manage, I guess, money and mental health is to slowly start kind of, okay, I've got all of these things in my head that I need to plan for, and these things keep popping in randomly and they're frustrating me, and I need to just at the very least jot them down and start to think about that. And a financial to-do list is always a good thing to do. If you've not done one, I highly recommend you should, because at the very least, particularly if you're in the overwhelm stage of you've realised you need to tackle your debt, or you've realised you have no savings, or you're at a sort of crisis point, actually getting those things out of your head and written down for you to then clearly look at and go, okay, this is what I need to deal with today. All I can manage is this thing here, so this is what you tick off and you go through. I'm a real advocate for that. I love lists. I've probably got far too many planners and journals where, the perfect to-do list layout is there, I will be honest. But what I've done is I've just taken a batch of my spares, and this is an old copy of a Stock Take Your Life list, which I will be doing next. But the financial to-do list, as you can see, and I wanted to just take you through what is on my financial to-do list, and if this is helpful to anyone, then please take this concept and run with it yourself. And this is in no particular order. I have just sat here for about an hour and gone, right, okay, all of these little things just keep randomly popping into my head at the most annoying moment, and I can't act on them then because I might be teaching, or I might be chatting to a family member, or cooking. What is it that I need to just kind of do? And don't use this. I'm not going to use this as a crap, you've got so much to do. I'm just going to use it as a, do you know what? I've got 15 minutes. Yeah, I think I can sit and look at this. Because it's in no particular order, there's no pressure. So I need to revisit my debt minimums. I look at that kind of every quarter. So we're coming up to that time. Is the minimum that I've set up affordable? Actually, can I do something more? What's the current level of my debt going into spring? And on the side track of that, I've realised that I'm a lot more seasonal with how I view things, and me trying to set up, new year, new me, here are my goals in the dead of winter, when actually all I wanted to do was just curl up underneath the covers and just survive winter, and the stress of that, and just deal with everything I dealt with and experienced in November and December that led to me having to take a break from YouTube and letting only the bare essentials kind of carry on. Trying to do like my future plans for 2024, that's not the best time to do that. But spring is the emergence of new life and new growth, and the sun is coming out and the days are getting longer and things just feel more positive, and that feels like a really good time to look at my overall financial situation and set new goals. And do a stock up list. I used to, I've let my prepping side go a little bit, and where I didn't really do a food shop at all in February in terms of like a big shop. I've realised like, oh, the spare containers of UHT milk, which I have in a pinch, they're not there anymore, and I don't have time to go and get any, so I'll just have a black coffee, and I've run out of coffee completely. Right, okay. Oh, and the cat's litter is running out because I've not normally I have things that I have kind of set up in batch. And so I do need to do a stock up. And looking within that as well, because my financial situation is going to be a little bit elevated for April as a result of a student loan payment I've got coming in. What can I do around stocking up, even in terms of the cat's medication? Can I try and stock up on 2 months worth of his medication? And then that ease the burden on my May, June, or July budget, for example. How can I do that? I need to draft the budgets for April, May, and June. I think that's going to help give me some clarity and a bit of settling. And a lot of these tie in together, but we'll just get to those when we get to them. They don't need to be fixed, but if I certainly know what my financial income is for those months. I know what I'm doing ish in terms of commuting, but I need to do a little bit more looking into that. So I've got a bit down here further on talking about scheduling. But then in line with that as well, I'm not teacher training in July and August, so the cat that has just jumped into a basket will have me around for a lot more because I won't be driving many places. And if I'm still in my house, what do I want to do? What do I want to take those 2 solid months off for? So what are my budget ideas and what things could impact on that budget? Revisiting monthly goals. It's something that I didn't really do in January or February, and at the minute in March, my monthly goal is to just take 1 day and 1 payment and 1 food shop and 1 car journey and 1 cat medication at a time. Just while I am repairing, hopefully, and recovering my brain. But monthly goals, I think, from April onwards would be really, really good, particularly as that will start to fall in line with, an inspection on my house. Can I keep it? Can I not? The cat's health as well. He'll be coming up to a heart scan as well around about May, June time. So looking at that there. And also starting to, it's not too early to think ahead. From September, I will be employed full time as a qualified early careers teacher. So I will know what my basic take home will be. If I'm still living in roughly the same geographical area, I know what my petrol will be. So I can start to look at that as well. And actually, what's the impact if I can get stocked up early enough, and what does my budget look like there? My personal spending goals, and this is something I found a little bit towards the end of last year, but with everything that was going on, it's never something I was able to look at and develop further. But I'd like kind of bookmarked mentally, like return to this. I'm quite happy with the £100 that I set myself, and there are some occasions, like when I've got this boosted income in the January and the September from last year, and also the April, where I'll give myself a little bit more spending money because there is the flexibility to do that. What I found with my monthly ones, although I'm happy with the £100 a month, I'll kind of have a rough plan. I'd really like to get this thing. Let's just say, for example, acrylic paint markers, because they're on a wish list of mine. Or I'd really like to get this couple of series of books. And then I find that I don't do that and I spend my money elsewhere instead. Which isn't a problem. It's my money to spend on me how I choose. But then the things, I never go back to like the spending wish list really. So I think it's worth me looking at what is on there. And you can see at the bottom here, I've got spending wish list. That should say review. Looking there and going, okay, right, what have I got going on? And how does my personal spending money tie into that? Spring goals I referenced earlier. What are my goals for spring? And really quarterly. I think taking the goals quarterly rather than annually. With regards to my scheduling, how am I gonna, because I know, and it's something I've discussed before, that actually I do benefit from getting extra earnings in. How am I scheduling that in with my time? What's the most cost effective way to do that? How am I going to when am I going to launch X, Y, and Z with regards to kind of the revitalization of in some form of my costume business? When am I going to do that? Put some hard deadlines in place, decide on when those are, and make sure they're actually achievable for me to get there, and go ahead and do that, rather than not setting myself really a deadline and just keep rolling and rolling and rolling, and then before I know it, I've missed a window of opportunity. And also, what are those extra earnings? So if it's just a case of me having a clear out and a D-stash, is that just something that I sit there and go, right, do that first and then move on to the business? Or do I just trickle along and do that and put my full focus on something which I know can generate me a little bit more stable income? Extra payment in April ideas. I know that I need to replace my phone, for example, but does that tie into my stock up list? Does it tie into my spending wish list? Does it tie into my spring goals for any savings? Does it tie into budgets going forward? So this is kind of one that I do need to do a little bit of groundwork and prep work for first, and it may result in many different drafts. These are all things which are like an evening in front of the TV. And particularly this next one, which is creating my next budget binder, is something that I start designing. This one I printed myself, the one that you've seen me use in a ring binder. There's already sheets which I've decided I don't want. There's things that I thought would be really useful to add in. And looking at that, and I have Canva, so I just create it on Canva, and I will print at home. An activities schedule. I do have some things planned. The birthday present that I got for mum and dad this year, which was a joint Christmas present as well. You know, there are a couple of activity days. What are those activity days? When are they? When's the Easter holidays for me? When's the May bank holiday? When's the May half term? What do I want to do? Do I want to do anything? Or don't I? Because I'm toying with, you know, taking a day trip somewhere in April, because I won't be taking any holidays while my cat is of unknown health, I would say. I won't be taking any holidays, but actually, you know, tying into the spending and activity wish list and the stock up list, I might go through to one of the more further afield cities and take a day, you know, and get those things, but also take advantage of that window of time. What am I doing? When am I doing it? If I have to move out of my house, that will completely change, and the activity schedule will be just moving and selling things. And then lastly, something I've referenced as well, the spending wish list. Do I have it to hand? Yes, I think I've done a video on this. In fact, no, I have done a video on this, and it's a video that I did and never referred back to, but I bought this because it was useful, and it's kind of, because when you're a spender like me, everything is an urgent, and you buy it now or cry later, as it says here. And that's not the case at all. But there's like a dreaming list. So, for example, a DSLR camera, a vlogging camera, a van to convert. Those are absolute dreams. A wanting list, a gaming computer or a spa day weekend. Still slightly unachievable, but a little bit more realistic than a van to convert. And then needing rendering markers. Well, I have those, fine lining pens and teaching books. So I have all of those actually. So I can definitely cross those out because I needed them at the time, and there is nothing urgent. Whereas actually now I think there are a couple of things that are urgent. You know, replacement mobile phone would go on there because my screen is not going to survive at all. And every day is like a cross your fingers, cross all fingers and thumbs and pray that I have a working phone by the time my student loan payment comes through, or certainly I get paid. And also what dates am I getting paid, and what does that look like, and how many weeks are in the month? All of these things that I need to do. And I think that personally, when these things are just randomly popping into your head when you are busy or distracted, that's a problem, in my opinion, because you're not then giving them the due diligence and the time, and they can add to your panic of, oh, I've got to do this, and oh crap, I've got this as well, and no, I'm too busy right now, I can't, I've got too much to do. No, like, you deal with it. No, I don't want to deal with this. Like, I've got too much on, I'm too busy, I'm going to bury it, and then you become an ostrich, which I'm certainly an ostrich in many things. And I think, like, yes, this is a lot of work to do, but actually so much of it ties in together that, when I'm structuring the fact that I essentially have a 3-day weekend because I'm not taking any classes on Monday. I've got some online only learning things that I need to do, so I don't need to travel, and I've got windows and pockets of time. I've got a later start because of that. Actually, do you know what? I can take a couple of hours in the evening, either on the laptop to start creating the budget binder, or to just start making these lists. And I thrive on a list, and I quite clearly thrive on a notepad as well, as we can see, for many different purposes. But I think that's going to help me go, right, okay, what is important to me in this kind of spring newish year for me? What are my goals? And I know I need to do a stock up, and what does that look like? And can doing that stock up when I have a greater influx of money in April ease my financial burdens further down the line in, say, a July or an August, where my income isn't as set? What does because I have the 5k binder that I want to think about. That's a whole year project. Where's my Christmas savings up to? Do I just go ahead and fully fund Christmas in April? And then I know it's done. All of the questions like that. Do I go really back to basics and go, yeah, I've got a 5k binder, but actually £1,000 of that needs to just be an emergency fund, and then mentally I've got the 1k emergency fund cushion. Anything else I build on top of that is slightly different. All of these things which are running around in my head. If I just quickly tap back onto Christmas, because this is a thought that's just popped in, my sister and I are going to do a book challenge. We've given each other, well, I still need to give her mine because I've not done it. So I need to add that. Hang on. Because this is also a financial to-do list. We have set each other a budget of £30, and we have given each other a book wish list. And it's extensive, and we have to get as many of the books off the list, second-hand copies only, for the £30 budget each, and that is a Christmas present. And then we're going to take, I think for her budget overall is like £50 for me. So £30 of that will be on as many of the books on her list that she wants, that I can get for second hand, and then £20 will be something that's like Christmassy. But I'm making a push for a handmade Christmas as well this year. So what can I get now to get started? So there's all of these little things that I need to consider and note down and look at the feasibility of, get on the calculator and look at, what savings challenges, if any, can I build into my budget each month? What does an extra £200 or an extra £400 or an extra £600 a month, what impact does that make? And exploring these questions rather than kind of blindly running into the wall in a panic because there's so much going on, and I want to avoid the too many spinning plates situation that I had before, by at the very least looking into things like this and going, right, what can I do? So this is a financial to-do list. It doesn't have to be very intimidating. This doesn't feel intimidating at all. This feels like a Friday night jobby on the sofa watching a ghost hunting video on YouTube, or a movie review podcast or vlogcast as I call it, because it's recorded video, that I love, for a couple of hours after my dinner, cuddling with the cat and just going, I'm going to just make lists of numbers, and that's enjoyable. Or I might draft this on my laptop, and that's a good balance. So please feel free to take this format if you find it useful. I will probably talk about the book challenge in a different video, because I feel like some of you might appreciate that, because you can also do it with DVDs, CDs, vinyls, I guess books as well. So I will do a separate video on that, actually, because that feels like quite a good one. Yes, I will see you all after the weekend on Monday with another video. Goodness knows what that will be. Probably a spending wish list, knowing me, because it's probably the first thing that I jump to. Maybe I'll do a follow-up to this. It depends how much I get done this weekend. I have to ground myself because I have got a PGCE assignment to write and an evidence bundle to submit. I will get there. It's going to be a busy weekend. So, on that note, I hope that your March has been going well and it has been successful for you in whatever way you define that to be. I am going to love you and leave you and see you in a couple of days' time. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. These things are all free and they help grow the channel. And I am back, apart from a small blip because of some year 11 students not managing their time or work ethic very well. But apart from that, I will see you all very soon. Bye bye for now.